So essentially, Climate Students Movement is set up with the aim of closing the gap between climate science and climate action. And we were founded a year ago with a membership network of student groups working towards our goal of pressuring higher education institutions to start acting urgently for the climate. Our board is composed of two committees, the member committee, who carries out capacity building worldwide through our member meetings, and the campaign committee, who are building a global advocacy campaign with other student organizations. So to give you a better idea, let me just go into what these two committees are doing. The member committee, who are the organizers of this event today, are focused on gaining more members, as the name implies, and basically working with our members. So our purpose includes expanding our network to gain more members, building external networks to engage more students, planning monthly meetings for the members to interact and also learn from each other, encouraging collaborations between the members, and to also manage useful resources for our members. As of right now, we have members from Colombia, Brazil, UK, Sweden, Finland, Malta, Nigeria, Kenya, and Singapore. Over this year, we've provided quite a few capacity building opportunities for the members. So we started out the year with a digital campaigning workshop where we invited a climate influencer to share her perspective and provided some advice and online tools members could use to develop an online presence. Something especially important, especially because it was during the pandemic period at the time. We also invited representatives from two institutions who've pledged to the SDG Accord, which is for their institutions to be in line with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. These representatives then shared about how their universities decided to sign the accord, and we held discussions about how to reach to universities' administrations and to try to make them listen to our suggestions. After that, we've also held a workshop with how to change the world regarding steps and the most effective ways to try to get curriculum change within our universities to include more climate issues into our education. And we've also held a workshop with the Alliance of Sustainability Leadership in Education about the Race to Zero campaign for the universities to commit to net zero by a certain year. On top of capacity building, we also have a climate students library, which has been expanding to include some useful external resources, as well as some resources created by our own members, such as the survey questions and learning objectives. We've also included a space for members that they can hopefully use to try to work together on ideas and to collaborate together. Of course, you will learn from our members themselves in a while when they're sharing, but they have also been very active in their local regions, carrying out many interesting projects, including biodiversity projects, handbooks to teach students how to be more sustainable, student surveys about climate, talks and events, as well as training and education about climate issues and writing articles about the climate crisis. On a more systemic level, to try to directly impact change in the universities, some members have also worked on compiling student demands to universities, organized to include different fields into sustainability, because sustainability is not just for the climate scientists. Also created climate action ranking for universities within their country and encouraged research labs in different universities to work together. A few of our members from 3 countries also actually work together on a pitching event to gather ideas for the universities from students. So it's like a start of a collaboration that we hope to see more of as well. On top of what we're currently doing, in the coming year, the member committee will also be planning to create a handbook for groups, especially for new groups that are starting out or groups that want more ideas. We'll also be sourcing for potential sponsors for our members' activities and as increasing media and awareness of our own and also our members' activities. Before I move on to the campaign committee, let me just discuss how you can be a member. So to be a member, actually, the only requirement is to be a student group that is in line with our statutes. In other words, essentially working on related issues and to operate without discrimination and any nasty stuff. There is no fee essentially, and our member group just have to appoint 2 representatives and engage actively with the meetings. Do note that you can be a member organization of any size. So we have fairly newly established groups like Uniclima and Green Sparks, as well as national networks such as Climate Students Sweden, which is much bigger. So you're more than welcome to find a few friends you think might be interested and start your own group if you feel inspired by this event and want to join. We more than welcome you. I'm sure I've already covered a lot of the benefits of joining the movement, but in essence, you'll gain access to our capacity building and international network whom you can learn from and collaborate with, be part of a global movement to solve problems together, gain more recognition and reach a wider audience to the network. Yeah, so that's kind of like the different like benefits if you're interested. We'll be sharing a link at the end of the conference, or you can kind of find the link to join in the website as well. So now I'll move on to share about the campaign committee, which has been focused on building a student-led advocacy campaign by the name of Act on Your Climate Science. So the purpose of the campaign is to engage students to build momentum and push thousands of universities and colleges to sign our framework, which requires them to set goals, create action plans, and declare a climate emergency. The campaign goal for COP27, which is next year, includes having 1,000 highs signed to the campaign to try to launch the campaign nationally in at least 30 countries, to advocate for science-based targets internationally for other campaigns and goals on top of our own one, to release an international student-led climate ranking of universities, and to try to release an international student action paper with suggestions for universities. To kind of carry out these highly ambitious campaign, we're working with other student organizations to form a coalition to lead the campaign. So this coalition consists of Students Organizing for Sustainability, Global Student Forum, and their regional federations, including OCLAY from Latin America, ESU and OBESU from Europe, the Commonwealth Student Association, and the All Africa Student Union. We're also working to include more climate and environmental students or youth organizations in the coalition and hopefully get more students on board. The main strategy of the campaign essentially centers around recruiting national campaign coordinators or NCCs who get training and support to run the campaign nationally. This then pushes institutions to start taking action and hopefully also inspire the same change at us in society at large. If you're interested, you can kind of find out more about this at our pre-launch event for the Act on Your Climate Science campaign, which is happening next Saturday at the same time as today's event. So do keep a lookout for it, especially if you're interested in joining or working with the campaign, as we'll be reopening recruitment for NCCs next week. And we'll be also releasing information about how you can join as one of the 4 campaign teams soon.
I want to speak a little bit about something I heard from a climate activist from Europe. Her name is Zemzem Ibrahim. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to make it today, but she mentioned something that really opened my eyes about climate action, especially in colleges. Only 6 or 7% of the world's population have access to higher education, while 80% of decision makers and politicians have college degrees. So what are we doing with this privilege? Higher education is a privilege, especially here in Brazil. So we need to give back something to society, you know. So if we want to tackle climate change, if you want to tackle climate justice, any forms of discrimination in society, we have to start with the roots, with the institutions, with the system itself. And higher education institutions are fundamental in changing mindsets, and our institutions currently aren't creating leaders that are equipped to deal with the issues of the world. So we need to make these decision makers, the staff members, the directors of universities uncomfortable, because when we are uncomfortable, we do something about it. And when we are comfortable, nothing happens, nothing changes. So they need to be aware of the impact their decisions have in the world. So we are seeing all over the world climate strikes and young people that are teaching themselves on climate science and climate education. And they have clear demands on their governments, on their city halls. And because of these activists, they are constantly putting pressure that things are changing. So be the change maker in your local university, because we need to take climate education mindset throughout the world. And well, that was it. Be brave, be firm with your demands, and we'll tackle climate change together. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. I think that was a really good sharing and quite inspirational. Yeah, I think basically, I think some of the earlier events we mentioned, it's basically here are the links for it. And I think I'll just send them on the group right after this. But essentially, we have the Act on Your Climate Science pre-launch for the campaign pre-launch. If you're interested, here's the link to it. And also, like we mentioned, I think Adam mentioned our next meeting in November, the introductory member meeting is going to be an open introductory meeting. So you can always join us, be a member, and sign up as a member here using this link. But if you're unsure or you want to check it out first, you can sign up to join the meeting itself first, and we can invite you in, and we can have more discussions on the 20th November to kind of find out more. And I guess the last thing is just basically these are our, we'll send out these slides later at the end of it, I think. So then you can also get access to our different social media platform. And if you'd like to join the Discord to start discussions and things like that, that's also a possibility.